Okay, I am done on my end and all that. I honestly have no idea what I'm going to do tonight. I am feeling like I'm being pulled in a couple different directions I want to get done, but anyway, I hope everyone's doing well. We'll move over to here real quick. Hello and welcome, everybody. So, tonight I'm not really sure what I am going to be up to doing today. I have an urge to paint, but I also need to build like 10 more models for a event that's coming up. So, I am unsure where I stand. You've missed nothing, Ando, and how's it going, table? I've literally started a few minutes ago. I'm trying to figure out what I do tonight. There is... There's so... What's up, Grim? What's up? Okay. So, this is where I kind of stand with stuff. I have a crusade that starts within a week. And just paint the table. I could. I don't know if I want to though. If I build, I'm building these. I'm adding 10 Sisters of Battle to a crusade list that I'm taking part of. Or I can pull out the knights because I have the knights fully finished and built, and I can paint those. You know what, table? I'll get some fine sandpaper. We'll sand you down just a little bit. I'll get a nice, good wood stain, and then we'll seal it in with a good coat, and it'll be perfect. And then we'll put you on Facebook Marketplace for like $2. Hey, Neil. Yeah, you guys are catching me at a little bit of a block. It is... I don't know. I also need to decide like what I want to do for a kill team as well for the crusade. Ugh. I'm sick of building, but I know I need to do more building. Jesus Christ. You know what? I'll at least show off. I know I sent pictures, but let me grab the knights and show them off to you guys. I'll set down the base. So, this is one of them that I finished this past weekend. And I got all primed up. And then I got this one. Let me get all the parts for it. I think actually... It's more important to get the knights built than to have the sisters kind of done. Or, I mean, to get the knights painted and all that. So I think we'll actually do that tonight. And do I have... I do have all their faces. So, I think that's what I'll do. Yeah, I built one with the guns, and I built one with the chainsword and all that. I want to use the airbrush on these guys, but I don't... It's either I use the airbrush or I stream, so we're going to skip that. But these guys were fun to build. I got some jeweler's chain, and I wrapped it around in a couple places. And kind of did some extra stuff. They could be convinced, or people could think that they are Chaos War Dogs, but they're not. These are loyalist little knights. So, I think that's what we'll do. I'll get the dry brush stuff ready, get them set up, and then I'm kind of thinking about the color scheme. Definitely doing one of these guys in green, and I think we'll do this one in green. I don't know what the second color will be. I did. I made a Discord post about my thoughts. Where's Mouse? Mouse is taking a nap. Mouse is tired and taking a nap. Okay. I'm also going to push everything else I have off to the side. I have so much stuff. Ooh. Okay. Is it better to dry brush a model like this with a white or like white gray, or could you do a more metallic color? I have seen some Discord update stuff. I don't want to give my information to any companies in general, so not a fan of that. I will probably avoid that as long as I possibly can, which will probably mean I end up losing like my Discord and stuff like that. So, yay! Love that. God, I have shite everywhere. But I'm gonna go to gray. I'm gonna hit these guys with a gray and then do the whites. What I got for... That's one away. Let's use... Can we just stop with the AI? I am sick of hearing, like, I don't want to use AI. I have no interest in AI being in a part of anything that I build or create. I mean, maybe one project just for the fucking hell of it, but it's not going to be it'd be like a program to go into a thing I built. But anyway, that's a whole different, like, thing in the future. Yeah, I'm not either. I don't... Like I said, I don't want to give companies my information at all. Okay. I'm going to open up this. Probably not have any damn room. This is going to be crusty as hell. No, it's not crusty. It definitely needs to be... Are you serious? That's... Ah, my lord. I don't know anymore. I try to avoid it. I know not everyone here is from the US, but, you know, for those here in the US or those that know, we had our Super Bowl actually, yeah, it was this past weekend. It was Sunday that we had the Super Bowl. It was the worst goddamn Super Bowl I've ever seen in my entire life. And every single ad was either made with AI or things about AI. And I'm like, why? This is trash. So, not a fan of all that. Fair enough. I'm not a sports fan. I don't like sports. I went to go hang out with my friends and watch it. So, you didn't miss much there, Table. Or Ando. So, it is... The quality... I agree. Like, I don't enjoy most sports. There are some that I found enjoyable, but situational. Like, I like lacrosse, but I don't watch lacrosse all the time. But I like it because I played it once or twice, and I was like, cool, I enjoy this. And then I just kind of stopped. Trying. There we go. I don't like how it's really streaking all too much. I don't think we're going to get that far. I'm probably just going to actually... I'll try to dry brush both, and I'll be happy if I get some paint on these models besides the dry brush stuff. But I can just remember being like... I'm going to sound like a boomer or some sort of old... I sound like an old person at this point. But I remember being a kid and watching like ads and stuff, or... things in general had an actual like creative spark from them, and now it just feels like nothing has that spark anymore. What are you knowing about? Oh, about me just sounding old? I mean, I'll admit it, I'm getting older. We all are. We'll all have to live with it and realize it. We're all going to get replaced by the younger generations. It's just how life goes. Do I want to be that way? No, but... But yeah, I just feel like there's no creative spark anymore for anything. Oh. No, I just feel like whenever I complain about things nowadays, it feels like, oh. No, you did not tell us that, Ando. I'm surprised there's even any 360 still working out there. Oh, no. That's a huge blob. I didn't properly dry brush enough off. That looks terrible. God, that's a freaking relic now, having an Xbox 360. Is a 360 now, like, over 20 years old? I never played with the Xbox 360. God, 2010s. Other than that, with me just complaining about all that stuff, how's everyone else doing? Everyone else enjoying their, enjoyed their weekend? Enjoyed the beginning of their week? There is the OG 2007 one and a 2013 version. I was 9 when the Xbox 360 came out. So it's not 20 years old, it's like 29 years old. Oh, not 29. 19 years old. God, that's insane to think about. I remember being a child, like, through the 2000s to this point is kind of insane. Like, we've jumped so much in technology in just the past, like, 20 years. Like, I know from the 90s up until this point, I mean, that's 30 years, maybe 30 plus of development, and that's a huge change. I feel that table. God, you're telling me. I went from doing like, oh, I got 1,000 points of Space Marines, and then joining in this crusade where now I'm doing Knights. Which personally, I was 50-50 on doing Knights or doing Space Marines. I let the crusade kind of decide. They're like, Knights. We all want Knights. And I'm like, okay. So, like, I feel like I start a project and I'm just lagging behind on other ones over and over and over again. Do all Americans compare state sizes? I don't. I don't really care about the size of other people's states. I know, I think, well, it's like sometimes some people get an argument like, oh no, like this is the biggest state, or this is the biggest state. More thinking between like Texas and California and all that, but Xbox is, that is quite a size difference, or weight difference, I mean. Okay, now I'm actually starting to get that to loosen up and shake. Wonder if it's possible to actually set up the airbrush on stream. I'm just curious on how much of like of a spray will hit the back wall. I've not bought anything on. I've not bought a Switch 2 or anything just because the prices on all of it are way too high. Nintendo's prices are too. Game prices are too high. I spend most of my time just on Steam, like, gaming, because it's cheaper, it's easier. Rock and Stone stocks are an all-time high. Oh, God. I would love to play that again with some friends. I haven't played that in so long. I had so much fun building these models this past weekend. I, like, got up and I was like, okay, I'll work on these models for like a couple hours. And I was like, okay, I got one night built. I'll get the other one fully built. And then I got it built and I'm like, okay, I'll add on a little bit of like design stuff here and there. And, you know, 3 hours later, I'm like, cool, I got the nights done. I guess not 3 hours. It was started around like 8, got done at 12. So it was awesome to be able to work on these just on my own and not really do much. They're developing a Rogue DRG game. Dude, I love older Pokemon. Like, Pokemon was my jam as a kid. And now here's the thing. Then, like, Pokemon is meant to be for children. Oh, it's called Road Core, by the way. Okay, I didn't know. What's up, Jake? What do you need help with? Are you stuck in the bathroom again? Okay. Good. That's a positive. You wish. Are you fighting off the raccoon again? Oh, you found out it's a corkscrew? That's not that bad. That's not that bad. I really want to try out the airbrush to see how it goes. So bad with this. Your guess is as good as mine. I don't know why. I don't want to know why. Because they're really good at building. That's why they're corkscrewed? Okay. Here we go. I know in the end, dry brushing like this way looks so much better. But sometimes, it doesn't turn out all too well. Well, I'm glad you're having a good evening, Jake. Even though it's going down in a spiral. But hey, you can come here, and you can just chillax and, you know, forget about all your stuff. This poor brush. I was trying to be funny about it being good. I wanted to make the joke about everything going down in a spiral. But, nah, dude, nature's weird, but also amazing at the same time. I have another fact I want to share with you, but I rather keep your sanity where it's at. Like, it would just... Roasted? He probably looked at it roasted, or thought that they were cute. Most people think ducks are cute. They're not. I mean, they can be cute, but they're very, it's a deception tactic. Just like penguins. It hides the, inner, PR... How can I acronym it without saying it? I'll just say it. Ducks are birds in general are big pervs. Or at least, like, ducks and penguins are. Dude, I love my geese so much. They used to be aggressive, but now they're like, oh, it's you. We're not okay with you, but we'll tolerate you. And I'm like, you better tolerate me. I raised you. But yeah. Ugh. I love geese. Geese are so much fun. I remember being a kid and I was terrified because we had some very, like... They were protective. I want to call them mean, but they were just very protective of their, like... of themselves and their kids. Or not, because we did have one, like, hatch out its own babies. And I just remember being terrified. And now that I have my own as an adult, like, I'm like, oh, I grew up with geese. This is, like, nothing new I haven't dealt with before. So I strided with confidence when dealing with geese. If I get one aggressive, I'm like, come closer. Just come, like, 2 feet closer so I can just grab you and hold you and then hug you. Like, I will admit, I don't fear the Canadian geese. Should I? Probably, but I don't. It's a beautiful thing watching that table. I don't want to fight one, but I want to get in this situation where, like, oh, hey, Canadian Goose is, like, coming at you, and everyone else around me is running away, and it's just, like, I want to be the thing that has the health bar once the, like, the goose comes by. It's, like, Dark Souls health bar and music pops up. It's, like, northern, like, country farmer versus goose or something like that. I do actually... I'm thinking about getting rid of my birds, to be honest, just because I live, like, further away than where they actually are, like, staying at. No, I don't want to... No, I don't want to harm... The only thing I want to do with the goose is actually, like, hold it and hug it, because I like holding my birds. I don't do it that often because they all freak out whenever I try. But, yeah, in my apartment, I don't have my geese and stuff. Obviously, like, in an apartment building, you should not have pets unless they're okay with it. So, my animals are at my parents' place, and I have to go... I go there every evening, or I try to go there every evening to, like, feed and water them. Of course they do. No. The hands you see on screen are a servitor's one. I am the little lizard that speaks to you on the screen. I actually do have a picture on, like, how... So, I have, like, an image in my head on how I picture the little, like, lizard controlling the servitor. And it's, like, the human, like, torso all the way down. Except for, like, the head where it's, like, a exposed, like, platform with levers and buttons that this little lizard's sitting in just to, like, press and move around. Yeah. I don't know if I can do a goose stream, but I can certainly take a video of my geese next time. I'll take a video of all my birds and share it with y'all. I named one of my geese Puff after Puff the Magic Dragon. She is adorable and I love her. I got Puff, Steve, and I didn't name their kid because I can't remember what I named it. I'm not going to paint a live goose. Well, I could paint... Okay, I could set up an easel and try to paint my birds, like, in a picture. I am a little bit sad. I did lose my favorite duck recently. I think a weasel got in the coop and, like, took out my favorite duck. And it was my oldest duck, too. So now I'm, like, down to, like, one of my... Besides my geese, I'm down to, like, one OG chicken from the original, like, 30 bantams I had. Yeah. It's not the first bird I've lost. I lost quite a few. It's just like, I love that bird. Her name was Glide. I named her after someone I played D&D with who was a cat and they hated birds. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to name a bird after you. And they're like, don't. I'm like, I will. So I named it Glide, and then the person ended up... I think the person ended up liking Glide. They're like, Glide's okay. I like Glide. But it's just one of those things of, like... I've had something chewing holes in the bottom of the coop for a bit, and every time I'd cover a hole, like, 2 more would pop up. So I was like, okay, maybe it's just a chipmunk. and all that, and I just didn't check on them in a couple days, and I got there and like she was just torn. I thought maybe the other birds got to her, but no, there's blood and stuff there. So, but that's just kind of the stuff with farm life. Like you have to deal with that. So I'll probably have to get rid of them as much as I don't want to. I don't think it's a chipmunk. I think it's an hermit. But if it was a chipmunk, that's a very determined chipmunk. Like I know squirrels and stuff can be ruthless. I've never heard of a chipmunk being that ruthless, but maybe chipmunks do go in the bird's nest and like eat the eggs and stuff. God, curb stomping a chipmunk. That is brutal to think about. Oh, okay. On the topic of animals, but also staying on birds, I have two birds that I despise with a passion. I despise them. If I could, I'd get rid of all of them. And that is the seagull and the pelicans. I want to get rid of all seagulls and pelicans. Seagulls are a trash animal, and pelicans are just jerks. Yeah, I know, Melody. It's because on the stand it is, like, the table itself is just shaking. So, whenever I move my hands too much, it shakes the camera. I mean, I could raise my hands up a little bit off the table. That would help. Yeah, I can do that for a bit. That'll definitely help with the shaking. I plan to in the future. I would love to do something for the wall, but I don't think I can just because where I'm renting. But in the future, I'd love to have like a stand or something attached to the wall that I could like set up. The servitor hasn't gonna use the proper camera movements. That's probably something I should upgrade. Is I should get a proper camera stand, and not just like a cheap $20 one from Walmart. But it's also so easy to just like pick it up and move it. And then I can have like three that I just switch between to do different stuff. Even though I don't have three, I have like two. Get another pair of servitor arms. I'll go to the Mechanicus and I'll just get like another servitor. I'll probably ask for this one with an afro just so, I don't know, just for some uniqueness of it. It's not pretty. I could do that for a stand. It's not a terrible idea, Melody. I like that. I like that idea. Okay, we are not turning our chat members into servitors. We're not doing that. I'll turn my friends into servitors, but I'm not going to do my community. I know that's a rough dry brush. I'm gonna call that one good. I need to also remember which legs go to which. You're asking him for spare arms, not your... Oh, jeez. Oh, that's so dry. I do have some spare PVC pipe at my job that I could use to make a stand. I think that'd be... No! No! I broke off the little piece. I tried to do something unique with this. I want to have a chain hanging down and have, like, 2 campaign badges and a little, like... And this thing. No, I broke off the chain! No! I'll re-glue it in a moment. I threw down some chain in between this guy's leg. And I wanted to have some, like, you know, little unique stuff. Because my thought is... Oh. No, it doesn't matter. But I think I can fix that. I can... skip that for now, and I can fix the chain. What'd I do with the glue? The glue's right there. Throw that one right there. No, I am working on some Imperial Knights. These are the armatures and all that. I'm running Imperial Knights in a crusade I'm taking part in soon, and I wanted to add some flavor to these knights. So one thing I've seen before is people taking jewelry chain and wrapping it around some parts of the knights. The reason why I have, like, horns and skulls on these is because when these guys go and, like, hunting or fighting and all that stuff, whatever they kill, they want to put on their knight as a trophy. So the idea and thought I had, because I played in a previous crusade, is that my main knight that I have, the big one that doesn't have any of this stuff on it, they lost their planet during that crusade, and my space marines were like, yo, we got a spare planet that you can, like, go and live on, if you will just go on crusades with us every once in a while. And because most of the house, like, died off during the last crusade, some of the higher nobles were like, oh, let's see if any of us can, like, run these knights. But the old house is like, oh, we don't want you to have our big knights. You can try these small ones. And my people are very, like, primitive. I'm basing a lot of the world off of, like, Monster Hunter and Jurassic Park a little bit. So wanted to throw on, like, oh, they're kind of more, they're noble, but they're, like, savage nobles. They're, like, barbarian nobles. Let's see. Melody said, I'm painting my Chaos War Dogs at the moment. 8 hours in, and I barely blocked out the metallics. Jesus Christ. Okay. I think I'm going to do one of these guys still. I'll keep dry brushing one of these guys. And the other one, I'm going to pull out the airbrush for. And I'm going to airbrush a like white, black. I'll actually airbrush one of the colors on it that I want to use. I think I can set up here and use the airbrush without it causing too much of a problem. I think. I'm happy with the 2 limbs my current servitor has table, but I appreciate the offer. I will make sure to pass it along to my local Inquisitor and let him know that you're offering some arms for those who are in need. Oh, that's cool. Oh, that also works for like the new for like all the Chaos the new Chaos Space Marines that are coming out. Which I don't play Chaos. I probably will at some point in the future. But oh boy, is this the year of Chaos. I know I said in the Discord like my thoughts on the 2 new community posts, but in general, this has been a year of Chaos. And I am for it. I like the idea of it was supposed to be the year of Chaos last year. It wasn't really. But now this year, everything that was supposed to come out last year, or at least what it feels like was supposed to come out last year, is coming out this year, and it's gorgeous. I love all of it. Table. I'm trying to start Crimson Fist. I feel that. I feel that. And then Millie said, I do collect Chaos Space Marines too, but your knights are extremely racist towards Space Marines, who they see as filthy mutants. That is crazy, but fair. Holy. Honestly, like, they're not wrong. Like, Space Marines are a mutated form of human. Melody's Nets are all about true humanity, no deviation whatsoever. Okay. I think this will stay now. I'll keep my arms up so that we don't have too much shaking. I don't want to give them to the bugs. No biomass for your bugs, Ando. You can go fight the... Actually, don't. Don't go fight the orcs. Why don't you and your bugs go fight a black hole? Yes. I saw it yesterday, and I did... I made a little post about it on a personal thing, today. But I love it personally. It made me start reading the Defiler data sheet. I know the new one isn't out yet, so it made me read the old one. I'm like, oh, the only thing I can kind of put it close to is the Space Marines Dreadnought. So it feels similar in that way of just being like a walking weapon platform. Okay, I gotta do the math. What is 100 euro in USD? Oh, for my Chaos players out there, I'm asking out of curiosity because I have a friend that plays Chaos. How do Dark Packs work? Because my friend that plays has never used Dark Pack because it seems confusing to him. Like, a lot of the stuff in Warhammer is confusing for him to read, and I've been trying to educate myself a little bit more to help him play his army so that he can, you know, actually play it fair and correct and all that. I understand that it is, from what I understand, you roll a leadership dice, and you can either try to get lethals or sustain hits. Sometimes I know there's certain, because there's Undivided and then the 4 Chaos Gods, there's versions of their rules with that as well. And I kind of lost my train of thought. I lost my train of thought there for a second. Where was I? Oh. I guess I'm just curious on, like, what considers a success or what considers a failure for doing a Dark Pack. Fair enough. Fair enough. It is very complicated. I will admit, as I've been just trying to understand more, because I want my friend to be able to, like, win games and play. He doesn't seem like he's enjoying it because he told me all he wants to do is just roll dice, which I agree. Like, rolling dice is the fun part. But he's read the books and he's, like, got the lore from that part, so it's not the same. I am going to toss this out. And I'll get a new one. I'm going to let that absorb all the water. Oh, I added a lot of water in, huh? Okay, we're just going to dump some of it out. There is no paper in it. It's just a sponge right now. I took the paper out. So I'm going to put it in new paper now. But it was so dry that it was just kind of curling, and I'm like, I need to get a new one. Hey, Light, how's it going? Hey, Seth. We're gonna just lay that. Oh, no. I'm not getting the Defiler. I'm like tempted just for the fact of it looks cool. Have I magnetized these guys? No, I have not. I'm gonna just run one as the up close variant, and I'm gonna run the other as the long range one. And then when I go and buy myself another box, because I'm going to, I'll just build one of the others. I'll just do what I did again. I need to try and clean this brush if I can. How well is this going to work now? Well, I guess you got some still on. Wow, you got plenty on there. What the hell? Why'd you look that up, Jake? Box knots are so cool. It would be cool for both, Sith. It would be very cool for both. Okay, that might be better. I like the idea of it going to Iron Warriors for the fact of it's a big, like, walking tank. It's Iron Warriors. Like, it would work perfect for that. There's so much paint on here. It is so more loaded than it needs to be. I have no money. That's where I stand. I have no money. I put all my money into Warhammer. I do magnetize some stuff. I knew with this, I was like, I will... It's a small knight. I won't care about the small knight. I do have a big knight that I will magnetize, but I'm also going to let chat decide what we put on it the day I build that. Well, I'll let the community decide. No, fair enough. I thought about magnetizing these guys, and I kind of just decided not to. Not that I couldn't. I mean, I think all I'd have to do is just... I'd have to cut a part here and green stuff the connection point around here, and then that's how I could magnetize it. It's less important to magnetize armigers now that they aren't battle line except for one detachment. I understand that thought. But also, you know, you got to get the community engaged in your stuff somehow. So why not let them try to decide how to build something? But, no, the thought is, like, if I reached, like, 500 subs, I'm going to let chat decide on a big night what kind of night I'm building and what can be added to it. Again, I am going to magnetize it so I can switch it out, because I do want to switch that out. Yeah, I got a bunch of magnets, like, right here. I have the magnets. I've magnetized my Space Marines and stuff before. Even though I haven't magnetized in a while. It's like, the infantry kind of units, I've stopped caring about magnetizing too much. and the characters or something I might magnetize. Okay, that is a lot more gray on that now. That's not a bad mindset to have with it, Sith. Like, I'm not... This might be the only time I ever run knights as an actual army. I'd rather run them as an allied unit just because I like myself a little bit more. What's up, Andrew? Like, I like my Space Marines a lot more. I made a custom chapter and all that stuff. And I love running them. I'm sad I'm not running them in this coming campaign. Although, technically I am. Technically, because I'm doing a Death Watch kill team. And I'm going to put in all my own Space Marine models. I put on way too much gray paint for this to be a proper, like, dry brush. But at the same time, I'm going to hit it with a white after too. So, I think this is actually perfect now I think of it. There's like one detachment in the night book. I can grab it and find it real quick. Actually, it might not be in like the night book. It might have been like an add-on after. That's a good question. Why do we have a lot of Chaos players in this community? I've never really shown interest in doing Chaos. Well, no, I've talked about maybe like doing some Chaos models, but not anytime soon. Although I do have a model that I am tempted to build currently. Actually, correction. I do have an interest on doing Chaos, but not 40k Chaos. I've actually started collecting an Age of Sigmar Chaos army just because I like some of the models. I'm a 40k loyalist through and through, although I will play Tyranids one day. I want to show you a Chaos model that I really want to build. I have two, but I'm going to show this. I'll show them both off, but I'll show one of them first. Yeah, I did, because Tyranids are like my third 40k army that I am gonna build. I have been slowly building it. So, for Age of Sigmar, I saw this guy. It's not the first time I saw him, but I grabbed him this past weekend. And I'm like, oh, this is gonna be like my main leader for my Age of Sigmar Chaos army if I ever get around to doing that. I do got the Seraphon that I need to finish. Honestly, this might just be like a wall collection one. I do have this Chaos Lord that I was like, oh, I'll also run this guy as like the leader. Actually, I bought two of these. I bought one for my Self-Dominant army, and I bought one for a buddy that I'm gonna turn into a Chaos Lord for his 40k army. Actually, besides that, there will be a Chaos stream at some point in the near future. Don't fret on that much. Listen, I am a fantasy person through and through. That was my first interest in love as a child. I love fantasy. I'm more of a Lizardman fan than I am a Chaos one, but the Chaos models just look so nice. You know, table, I do... God, I'm realizing how many, like, random odds and ends I do have. I do have 2 Necron kill teams. One I really should kind of finish doing. I started it once on Halloween, and yeah. But at some point, I need to finish making the custom Helldrake for a friend, and I gotta paint up his Chaos models. Okay. This guy has been brushed. I guess I could do... Well, I can do his base as well. Okay. Let's get this guy's base all... We'll get this all dry brushed as well. I talked about in the Discord as well, that custom character thing. I think that's awesome for like us narrative, like at home players. I love that. It's GW is giving some creativity back to its players, and not just like oh, like my guy, like just some bog standard captain. Like there's going to be some actual customization, it feels like, with that. And I do love that. I don't expect to see it ever come into tournament stuff. Nor do I think I want to see it go into tournament stuff. I want to see it stay as a little thing. I do love the Tyranids. I have painted a few Tyranid models on this channel. I do want to do more at some point, but I gotta finish my Space Marine stuff. I have far too much just unbuilt and stuff for Space Marines. I can pull the image out. I don't want to pull the image out. I think they would put it somewhere online, like how to do it. I think with like most of the book stuff does go online eventually. It just kind of like depends on when. But I truly don't know. I'm also just talking out my ass, so. You know, Table, just because you said that, I'm going to put my little Vulcan model right here. I'm going to put my Vulcan Histown model right there. Well, you can deal with him being there, because I love him. Don't come after my salamander, boys. I love them. I take it as a personal offense because I'm also a salamander on your screen. Okay. I have the new model. I don't have the old one. I know it's painted in gold right now. At some point, I need to... I'm going to paint him in my colors. I might get a second one at some point and paint him as like a proper salamanders. But I'm going to paint this one in my chapter's colors. I can understand like why people get... I can understand why Table feels the way he does about the salamanders. Like, I do understand. It's kind of how I feel about the Ultramarines a little bit. It's just like, although I think the Ultramarines are everywhere and put in everything, and I just want something different. Oh, Melody. That is exactly the colors of my Space Marine chapter. So, I don't have a fully painted one up, but I'll grab the image. Oh, cool, it's already here. So, this is the color scheme. This is the color scheme of my custom Space Marine chapter. It is exactly my colors as my little guy. So, yeah, I am very happy with that. I definitely need to do some company markings at some point on these guys and also make a chapter symbol. But yeah, no, I've already started painting. First company is different though from everyone else. It is black armor with blue trim, still pauldrons and actually I'll just show it. I mean, I don't disagree. I have a brighter blue I'm working on. This is First Company. First Company's black armor, blue, and with the silver. Just because I have part Dark Angels in me, I run a secondary First Company colors. What song are you trying to get Table to listen to? Wait, is there like an actual anthem for like the salamanders? Okay, that's a bit lighter. Let's see. I got this guy too. But I do agree, Melody. It's not as bright blue. At least all of them aren't as bright blue. Oh, yeah. Okay, that channel. I've listened to some of the songs. I thought the Nurgle ones were, like, good. At least one of them I did. The Emperor's one was meh. Yeah, I'm trying to find a blue that I'm, like, actually happy with. Actually, besides the main colors I do use for my Marines, I use Regal Blue from Army Painter, and then do I have the speed paint here on it? I do. So for speed paint, I use Magic Blue, which is the brighter one I've been using, and I've been a fan of that. I've been looking at that one for a while. I have had, or I've met some people that play BattleTech. It seems interesting. I do want to try it. It seems interesting, and I might try it one time. I'm gonna need to dip this brush again in the water because it's starting to get a little bit spiky. You'd use the blue on the top right corner of the screen. I could try to find one like that. I might have a model that I don't know what... It might be more of a teal, but I do have a model. It's in here. It is. I found this one on eBay, and I saw it, and I instantly decided to buy it because of its color. This is probably the kind of blue that you're maybe recommending. I have no idea what the person used to make it, but I do love it. What's up, Liberty? And thank you. Yeah, I think from my guesstimation on these colors, they used a darker blue, probably not Regal, but a definitely darker blue, and they probably airbrushed on a teal color. It's darker than this Hydra. So I don't know what they could have used. But I might try that on my own in the future. Although I do have an airbrush paint that if I airbrush white and then I do this paint, it does make a very nice blue as well. But at some point I will paint this guy. I don't think there'd be much orange going on this guy. They got like some Okay. I will give it a try. I've changed my scheme up so many times on color-wise. I think what I'll probably do, just to keep some of the colors that I have used and I want to keep using, is prime it in black, airbrush base coat Regal Blue, and then go in with the Hydra. Although I think I have a brighter teal. think I do. No, I got a darker one. Yeah, the darker one I have is Deep Azura. So the Hydra is lighter. I actually got those for the Seraphon. But I'll definitely give that a try. You would suggest against that. I will take your suggestion into consideration. I have the paints. I want to use them until they're like done. So that's kind of like why I'm a little bit like, oh, I'll probably or I'll try to use this or this. I mean, even on this guy, the other person did throw on a darker blue. So, but we'll see. I can try. I can try to do that. I don't really do a lot of airbrush work. I'm more of just a paintbrush in hand and paint it on. But I can definitely try it. If I have time this weekend, I will give it a try. That is true. If I do want those brighter colors, it does have to go over white. I feel like I am coming up with excuses, and maybe I am a little bit. I don't have a good airbrush whatsoever. I have a cheap $20 airbrush I bought. I don't like how that went on. There's too much moisture on that brush still. Hey, Average, how's it going? I'm going to try and get some more of that water off it, but I don't think I'm able to. Yeah, that might work. Some people here say it works really well. I've never done it. I feel like when it comes to that, I'm more of a brush guy as well. That is literally just swirling around. Why is that doing that? Okay. Hold on a second. I'm going to ask you, Melody. Does yours look like this? Because this is mine. Like, are you talking about, like, is it something like this? Like, I've done airbrushing with it before. You know what? I will I probably could get a bigger compressor for that. The charge on that one does last like a couple hours, but I think I need to get a cable and let it, or like keep it plugged in while I use it. You know, I bet if I fired up that compressor right now and tried to use it, that this would go like 10 times faster. Do I try? Do I actually try on stream to use the air compressor? Or to use the brush, the airbrush? I feel like I should. I've never seen those before. I will have to look one of those up and check it out. They do, which is why I haven't done on stream. Also, the space that I can use the air compressor is right where my stream setup is. So I have to remove everything from in front of my desk off, including the stand. Because I set up a... like a poster board on the bottom. And then I do one against the wall so that, like, when I use it, no paint molecules land on my desk and make a mess. But I think to like go through and do all the batch painting that I want to do, I need to use the airbrush and get everything kind of primed, because I've done, it's not perfect. I've done like a similar one, what you're saying, for like do it black and then white. I mean, this is done with wow, that physically had dust come off. Like, this is hit with a black primer, then a white primer. And that's what I got to get this color. Or this set. I am, like, slowly working on setting up the other space, so I have more room to do stuff. I can't stream there yet because I don't have Wi-Fi there, but at some point I will get Wi-Fi set up there and we'll have a larger table to do more bigger projects on. But I think it'll be like worse audio-wise. I think I can do that with the airbrush a lot better than I could with a rattle can primer. Because that's exactly what I did for those. Like, it's all just rattle canned. I probably actually hit it too much. Like, this guy was also rattle canned as well. And is what kind of got me the look. The black, I could have thinned out a little bit more. But I rattle can primed it. And then I did hit it with a dry brush of white as well, to help add some extra white to it. So I was experimenting and trying with it. I probably wasted a lot more of the white, but I tried to hit certain parts more with the white, just so that it would be like, oh, that's where the light's really hitting it. Like this guy, I think has a good... Okay. Definitely going to give it a try. Oh, I do have a model that I do want chat's opinion on. I'm going to grab it real quick. How's it going, Kurt? Hope you're doing well this evening. I stepped away at the exact time you were saying that message. I'll show the model off in a second. I'm just going to dry brush this a little bit more, and then I will show it off. Struggled with colors not showing well at the begging point. And it was all because you painted over the black ground without white zenithal. The Crux Terminatus box? Or not did I say right? Terminatus? No, I didn't say that correctly. I'm going to look up what you just said. I'm sure I know what you're talking about, but I'm also a little bit... Hold on. Oh, you got the... You were able to get the Terminator box? Look at you! Well, okay. eBay's good. I could have bought that when it first came out, but I chose not to because I didn't need any more Terminators. And if I wanted Assault Terminators, I could have waited until the models came out. But good for you, man. To show off the model that I wanted to show to you guys, I had an apothecary that I was kind of working on for a little bit, or at least on the side. This is, I need to work on him a little bit more. I wanted to go and do a more bone color, just because on what I like for the idea of my Marines and all that stuff. I initially called these guys the Paleo Marines, so I wanted to pay homage to like the bone idea color. I like it. I think I made it too... I added too much of a wash, so now I should probably bring the color back. I'm trying to edge highlight it. And I can definitely brighten the orange up a little bit, but I just wanted to show it off, and I'm happy with it. It's not done. I gotta do a little bit of brown edge highlighting on it and some stuff here and there. But it reminds me of a Gundam. I don't know which Gundam, but it just reminds me of one. I am going to run that guy in a Crusade next week. I'm going to run him as a Deathwatch captain. For... in general for Marines, how many points do I have? Or are you just asking for what I'm, like, gonna do for the Crusade? Because I'll just say screw it and I'll just show an image, just show how many points I have. And also why I'm trying to figure out how I can paint things a bit better. Okay. I will find the image and I will show. Oh, Lord. Where is it? I know I have it. There it is. Okay. I'll make this a little bit bigger. I guess that makes sense. There is a lot going on with this model. You got the blue, you got the black, you got the orange. Probably simplifying it might have been better, but I'm still happy with it. I like the little bits on there. Anyway, this is my entire Space Marine collection. This is my problem. I don't know in total how many points I have, but I have a few. There's the Space Wolf box in the back there. So it's definitely over 3,000 points. I'm trying to build up some of these guys slowly. There are some completed models in there, but not a lot. So yeah, that is what I'm working on. Put away. No, I'm not sending you my Redemptors. I like my Redemptors. They are staying in my collection. God, do I have 5k in points? I have no idea. I wouldn't be surprised. But on top of that, I have 1,000 points of Guard, 1,000 points of Tyranids, 2,000 points in Custodes, and now I have over 500 points in Knights. And I have a Spearhead for the Seraphon box. And I also have 2 Necron kill teams. And I think that's it. I think that's it for every variance of models that I own. It doesn't feel good. I've heard about the 70-20-10 before. I don't disagree with it. I tried to keep that in mind for... I tried to keep it simple for everybody else that I was painting. But for the Apothecary, I really wanted to go with the bone white color idea. So I could have simplified a lot more on it. It's a good amount of points for in different armies or collection-wise. Oop, did not want that to come off. I will re-glue you later. I will admit, I'm a big fan of adding chains on the models now. I think this is really cool. Having this, like... I like the idea of having these chains on here. a little bit of extra character added to my models. I will admit, I'm so tempted to get into Spearhead a lot more. Oh yeah, that also reminds me. I have like a few models for Chaos Age of Sigmar. Because I liked the models and I bought them and they're in my collection now. God, if I get an Age of Sigmar, I'm doing the Seraphon. I have that. I'm doing an Undead army. I'm doing a Chaos army. What else? And I'm gonna do a couple models for, I want to call them Thunder Warriors. That's not what they are. They're the Golden Boys in Age of Sigmar, just because some of them look cool. I think Age of Sigmar has cooler looking models than 40k does. 40k is the moneymaker, and I do love 40k. But I'm a fantasy nerd through and through. And 40k just has some really cool looking guys. Or not 40k, I mean Sigmar has some really cool looking guys and all that. I think it does. I think it has some cool models. I mean, not every model's cool, but I'm a big fan of, like, dude riding a dragon. I'm a big fan of dinosaurs and lizardmen. Like, I find that stuff cool. That is inner child me happy as hell. Now, I will never fully move away from 40k because I'm too invested at this point into 40k. I'm not going to say that twice, Jake. No. You are not going to get me to bark on stream. That's probably not what you're trying to get me to say, but it reads similar, and I'm not gonna do that. Do 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 do. What is Team A? Were those the, like, are those the model designers for, like, GW? Okay, we got that. How much is on this? Not a lot, but I will definitely use this as a dry brush palette because I don't care about the... Well, I do care about the base, but I'm okay with it being a little bit rough. Yeah, it's definitely a lot brighter than it needs to be. That one looks good, this one so much. I think 40k is their money maker, and that they keep it more conservative because they don't want to change too much and lose their fan base, I guess, maybe. That'd be my thought on it. And Sigmar, they're like, Sigmar, they go and they test out what what might work for sculpting and for posing and stuff like that, and seeing how people feel about certain stuff in Sigmar, and they're like, oh, people really like this style model, or this worked really well, let's bring it to 40k, and then that's how like 40k gets updated. But who really knows? Okay, Sith. You got me there. You had me there. I think that works. How's been the controversy with like the female custodies? Is that still a big thing people are like getting upset about, or kind of where are things going with that? Because I've not heard anything about it in a bit. Okay, so that's still a thing people are complaining about. That was more my question, if people were still complaining about it, or if like people haven't let it go, but it's just not as a big of a thing people are complaining about. I don't remember what the Blood Angel models looked like when they did get re-released. The new Defiler and the new like Chaos Leader that's coming out, that is definitely different. It dropped 10%? That is huge. I mean, 10% is a little bit, but still, like, your stock dropping with 10% within a day from your choices on that is a huge thing. Because that scares away investors. But you know what, Melody? You probably are. There probably do have some new designers or someone coming in and designing something different, because a lot of the newer stuff that I've seen for like the Defiler, and then some of the Chaos stuff coming out. Oh no. No. I don't want to see female Space Marines. I don't know the lore reasons, anything like that. I like the idea of a. I look at Space Marines as being these giant muscular knights, kind of like a fantasy knight. That's how I look at them, and it being more of a male thing. I feel like I'm going to dig myself a hole no matter what I say here. I will be upset, but I will keep playing. I just will never build anything that will look like a... For 40k, I guess I'll say Sigmar is different. Sure. I might regret it, but sure. Nando. You know what? Fair. I can get behind that just to see the repercussions of it. How's it going, wow, screwed up. How's it going, Eternal? Hope you're doing well this evening. Yeah. At least from what I understand, like, custodies are more expensive than Space Marines to make. I'm doing good. I am trying to dry brush these knights. On that same thought melody, why would the Imperium invest in the Guard? Thank you. I wanted something to be open, but still kind of like be craggy and all that stuff. Goddamn cats. Yeah, like, why would the Imperium invest in the Guard if they have Space Marines that are better than the Guard? That's the same thought process of why would the Imperium invest in Space Marines when Custodes are a better soldier? And I think the answer boils down to time and resources. The amount of time it takes to create a Custodes is longer than it takes to create a Space Marine. No, and that's true. And Space Marines are a smaller fraction of that, and Custodes are a smaller fraction of that. Oh my, that could definitely be how they do it. That is very true. That's very true, Eternal, because like there's so much going on in the Imperium. Why? Yeah, you're not going to see a Space Marine like in the books that I've listened to. It's not a lot of Space Marines that are doing these crazy things. Like, it might be a company at most. I wonder if, like, Custodes are, like, the men of gold that were talked about in the Age of Darkness? Is that what they called it? I can't remember. Yeah, if they do deploy a Custodes, they already consider that battle won. There is no, like, oh, a Custodes lost. Like, no, a Custodes has won, and we're just sending them out. I'm kind of curious. I'm now really curious if Custodes are the men of gold that were talked about or created, because it was men of gold were created, then men of stone, then men of iron. Are Custodes the men of gold? Or like a fool's gold? Could they be fool's gold? Custodes are the fool's gold, and then they created the men of gold. Then they created the men of stone, and then the men of stone created men of iron. No, I understand it predates the Emperor. The thought process is that the technology that he uses to make the Custodes is considered arcane and old. So, what if he like discovered how they made men of gold? So now he made men of gold for himself, which they are in gold armor, like physically in gold armor. That's the thought process, at least, that I have. Like, we don't know what a Men of Gold is, but the idea is that they were... I mean, like, what if a Men of Gold is the... Probably a Men of Gold is the pinnacle of what humanity was or can be. But again, if you mess with enough genetics like you do with the Custodes, you are going to get, like, a smarter, faster, stronger version of a human. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's the same technology. He just rediscovered it. So, like, Custodes are pretty... Honestly, I I'm kind of blowing my own mind thinking about this. Because I find the Dark Age of technology extremely fascinating. Like, I try to look up made through alchemy, not genetic. I mean, wouldn't that technically be one and the same? Like, it's a form of alchemy is just gene modification. Unless what you're saying is like the alchemy is warpcraft and that's what they're made, not just genetics. I'll have to sit around and play with this idea a little bit more. I have to dig more into the lore and all that stuff. And kind of like figure out from there like where this kind of goes. I mean, another idea is that like what if the Emperor is like a man of gold? Like the Emperor's been around for a very long time. Like the Emperor Mankind persona isn't as young as the Emperor himself is. Like whatever the Emperor was before revealing himself. Ugh. There's just so much that we don't know. But I like this idea that the Custodes are these men of gold. They're the pinnacle. And they helped push. Because the men of gold were probably so expensive to make. But couldn't do all these other things that, like, really needed to be done. So then they went and made something that wasn't as perfect. Yes, men and women. I'm not... In my head, I'm using it to mean both. But for your entertainment, I will say men and women. Well, that's not good for the Imperium. Ooh. Oh my. Oh, excuse me. Damn. I wish I hopped on when it was like 7 for the stream. I got busy doing other things and I ended up getting home later than I planned. And before. I'm glad we can all have conversations like this. At least all in good spirits. You know, I will admit, for the longest time, I did think that, like, 40K wasn't a place for inclusiveness, is the word I'll use. But I was listening to a short story, which is about a planet getting invaded by Nurgle. And its main thing is, like, a factory worker saves a baby pig and brings it back home for him and his husband. And I'm like, oh, so that does exist in 40K, which I was like, you know what? Good for the Imperium. There's one plus there, but I don't think they really care as long as you... There's plenty of orphans that they can raise and build their tithe that way, I guess. As long as you're paying your tithe, I guess they don't care. Okay. I just did all that dry brushing with gray. And as much as I would love to dry brush with a white, my white is super bad gone by. So I'm going to dry brush it with some brain matter beige. It will work for what I want to do. And then I will start doing some painting. Some actual proper painting. I'm not sure still on the color scheme. Is the kind of sad part. Like, I definitely want to do red, black, and gray on one. And I want to do another one as green and another color. I'm just not sure what the other color is going to be. Well, I'm going to do a little bit for our headlight. What the fuck? Okay. Holy sh... What the fuck, Melody? I know I'm not PG-13 right now, nor has my stream ever been PG-13. That's not a comment I ever expected someone to say. My dyslexia might have also, like, kicked in and changed the word that you said or that you typed into something different, which is also... I'm going to drop this subject because I realize now I changed the word into something even worse than what it actually is. Oh, no. I need to get my head out of the gutter. You know, that white's actually not too bad. It's actually hit exactly where I need it to. I'm glad you can enjoy yourself while being in my streams. I hope everyone else is able to enjoy themselves as well. I think at some point, though, I need to cut the line, and I feel like I was getting kind of close. For some of it, though. Do. Okay. I wonder how this will look with speed paint. I wonder if speed paint would kind of be okay. I mean, I've been doing the dry brushing as if I was gonna like do slap shot this entire time. What's a good combo color to do for green? My brain is moving to beige, but I don't think that's the color I should really go for. Yeah, let's kind of keep it. I don't want to get kicked off of YouTube. I would say if you wanted to share something in my Discord, you could, but if it is like that bad, then I'll probably just say like no on even that being shared. Which, for those that are curious, I do have a Discord. It is completely free to join. It is a place that you can show off your Warhammer models, homebrew stories, other projects, because I know I paint and build a lot of Warhammer on this channel. I do want to get into prop making and other things. I've done it once or twice on the channel here and there. But it's just a place that people can go and geek out and share about their stuff. So, yeah, just gonna, usually I promote that near the end, but I figure I'd do a little one here. This feels like the right amount of white that I've just done. I have a comment I want to say. Just like in thinking of like what your knights get up to when they land. I'm not going to say it because we don't need to go down this line. And I feel like I already know the answer if I ask it. So no. We're just going to stop. We're just going to stop. Plus, it would also get kind of like political, and I don't want to get into political stuff on this channel. Have I seen the movie Seven? No, but now I'm going to look it up just to... Oh. Okay, what are... Oh, you're not the first person to talk about this movie. This is like the second time this movie's come up on this channel. I'm assuming you're going to say it's like similar in line to that. Yeah, I've not seen it, but that is the second time it's come up on this channel. Which, if I had a quarter for each time that happened, I'd have 2 quarters. Which isn't a lot, but it's weird it's happened twice. I feel like I need to watch it now, but I also feel like I'm stepping into a bear trap that's just about to close. Trying to get all this moisture off the dry brush. At least some of it, though. Actually get some of the moisture off. Oh, that's too much white. You know, if I did that, I'm going to do it here as well. Actually, one of my, like, favorite movies of all time has Brad Pitt in it. I think it's Brad Pitt. It's Brad Pitt and, Leonardo DiCaprio. It's, I think it's like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. God, that's a good movie. I didn't understand what it was about until, like, someone explained to me, like, the premise of it. I'm like, oh, that's actually, like, a really cool idea. I've seen it twice now, and I really enjoyed it. It's, like, one of my top 5 favorite movies. And 3 of those spots are taken up with the Jurassic Park films. And now we're going to dry brush this guy, which will be fun. Oh, what's the name of the movie that has Morgan Freeman and Jim Curry? I think is his name. I just know him as Ace Ventura's or The Grinch. If you know what movie or actor I'm talking about, like, what movie is that? I know that is out there. I just don't remember the name of it. He's also, like, in The Mask as well. He's, like, the main actor in that one. I think it's, like, a good premise from what I, like, remember. I mean, it's not, like, the best movie out there. Although, yeah, Jim Carrey. I said Curry earlier, didn't I? I meant Jim Carrey. He played in a movie with, like, Morgan Freeman that I remember quite a bit. Which the premise of that movie is, like, this guy's life kind of sucks and all that, or something like that. He gets an invitation, goes in this random warehouse, climbs up a ladder. I'm not sure, Mr. One Shot. I'm kind of doing a... I guess I'm doing a custom house a little bit. Just with the random upgrades I did to it. Yes. Yes, I am talking about that movie Melody. Actually, there is one better from Jim Carrey that I like, and that is The Truman Show. God, that was a good movie. I saw that for the first time. That's in the top 5 as well. But, yeah, no, I'm kind of doing I think I'm just going to end up doing like a custom night house or just a custom paint scheme for these guys. I don't know much about the different night houses and all that stuff, but I took part in a crusade last year, or near the end of last year, and I ran Space Marines, and in the very last game that I played, I added a knight that I bought from my game store. And I called it my last hope. I lost that game. I never won a single game in that entire crusade. But the idea that I have is that in that crusade, some of the planets got blown up by the Inquisition. One of those being a night house. And my Space Marines were like, hey, we got a planet that you can settle within our system. And you can settle there if you, like, help us with some of our future crusades and stuff like that. That's what I thought. I thought just like, oh, I'll call it Last Hope because it's my literal last hope. Actually, I have it. It's sitting on the shelf. I'm not going to pull it off. Hey, and welcome back. But, yeah, the idea is like, my Space Marines give this planet in the system to these knights. Now these knights are going... They're on a crusade, but they're helping... I guess the idea I have narrative-wise is they're helping my Space Marines on a secret mission, but they're taking part in like the 500 World Crusade because that's what my game store is running for the next one is the 500 Worlds. So I'm running Last Hope, these 2 armatures, and a Deathwatch kill team, and a Sister Battle Squad, which I still have to build the Sisters of Battle. But even though I got chains and random little bits on these knights, the idea is that the world they inhabited had a lot of beasts and creatures on it, and the people on that planet keep trophies of the creatures that they kill. And of course, the Night House lost a lot of its higher society members from the Exterminatus. So, some of the nobles from these other planets some of the nobles from the other planets were like, oh, well, let's try, why don't you let some of us pilot your knights? And the main house was like, we don't want you to, but you can do our small ones. And now they're like, okay. And a few of them were like able to do it. And now they are the barbarian nobles, I guess, is what the higher house will call them. So yeah. Yes, I made up some custom bases for these guys. It's just done with cork, sprue, Mod Podge, and the gravelly texture is done with the Pro Acryl Gray Earth Fine paint here. I love using this stuff, and I've been looking up and testing on how to make some of these more like unique looks. So these big like craggy rock shapes are sprue just covered in it. And then I got a couple sprue here. That just broke off, but a couple sprues They'll paint this up as metal, and then a broken skull that we got there. And very cool that you paint up some Ultramarines. Very cool. Thank you. I try to do good on the bases because I like my models to tell stories all the way through. Because, I mean, these sit on my shelf, and even though no one else really hears the stories that I come up with them, I like to have the idea. Thank you. I actually got these horns from a Age of Sigmar box. It's an orc that rides like a weird orc dragon. I took that box and I took it for parts for other projects. And these are the horns, same with the skull on this guy's shoulder from that box. So I figured this is some horned beast that this knight fought and killed and now puts it on his knight. That's the head of a beast that one shot down. I need to re-glue on some shields and trinkets on this chain. They fell off, but I wanted some like campaign badges on the models. I almost threw on like a whole shield actually. To be like, this is the campaign badge. Campaign badge. But it didn't really look that good. But what do you run in your Ultramarine list? Just out of curiosity, one shot. I'm always interested to hear what other people run and stuff. Okay. Not a lot got... If I fight and kill some Tyranids with these guys, I will. I do have a model with a Tyranid trophy. Same, my guy, same. I found out today, actually, that I have like 5,000. But that is a lot of Marines. So, just to show you Melody, this was the final captain that I ran in that last crusade. This is my custom captain with relic shield. Dude, I feel that. Everything I bought last year. Or like a year and a half ago, but still. But this is a kit bash that I did with the Emperor's Champion and Master Lazarus. And this Tyranid skull on the back is supposed to represent a Gene Stealer skull. I don't have any Gene Stealer parts, so that's the best I could do. But that is the best. That Gene Stealer skull is supposed to represent the time that this guy soloed the Gene Stealer, like the main person. Oh yeah, I got this hammer from Dragoon Gaming. I've had it for a while. I'm only going to use these Thunder Hammers in the future. The normal 40k ones, no. Now, I did run as Dark Angels, so that hammer is like the special... I'm going to say yes, Melody. This guy soloed it that entire time, the entire point up until that point in the Crusade. The captain with Relic Shield kept dying and kept getting battle scars. So he got a mark of shame, is what I rolled eventually, for his like negative trait. And it meant that until I killed like a character or a giant vehicle or monster, I couldn't use stratagems on this guy or any units that he had. So him, 6 Blade Guards and a Blade Guard Ancient took out an entire squad of Gene Stealers, and he soloed the last guy. Now, I did move from that position and end up letting a bunch of little Hormigons and a Hive Tyrant through, and I end up losing the game. But in the end, I feel like I won just because this guy did something awesome. So, Blade Guard are one of my top 3 favorite models. Captain with Relic Shield is number 1. Blade Guard Vets are number 2. Number 3 are the Deathwing Knights. Deathwing Knights are number 3 on my list. Anything with a sword and shield I love. And the Lion is like number 4, but the Lion moves on the list all the time. All my models have history. I love making stories and doing this fun stuff with like my models. I love Crusade for that. I really wanted in the Crusade my captain to get the Chapter Master rank. Yeah, I wanted him to get the Chapter Master rank in the Crusade. It never happened. But I wanted him to get there so bad. Goodbye, Ando. Enjoy the rest of your night. How's it going, Death? Hope you're doing well. Logan Grimnar is an awesome model as well. Space Wolves have a really cool aesthetic as well. I do have a few Space Wolf models that I will use in my army, but I'm not going to run Space Wolves anytime soon. Let me just get these guys together properly. So now I need to put paint on models. So, what do I do for color scheme? I want to do one of them in green. That is my first thought. I want to do one in green. I don't do a lot of green models, so it'd be kind of fun. And another color that I don't like, but I want to do, is red. Now, I have a flannel that I was going to copy the colors from, which is red, black, and gray. So it'd be like a dark reddish base. And then like black stripes with some gray stripes as well. But I don't know what I have for paints as well that I could use. Because most of my palette I use is blue. I do have a yellow that I've never really used before. Or I've used once or twice. I got some oranges. That's a red I have there. And then I got corn red there. I got Spellbound Fuchsia. And I got this Nagaroth Knight. I'm open to suggestions, but I don't know if I really have a lot kind of popping out at me. What do I got in my other drawer? I do got some metallic colors. That I am, Grim. How's it going, Corrupted? I am trying to figure out what colors I use. Oh, nice, Grim. I hope that goes well for you. If I do orange, it's going to be a lot of base coats. I feel like. If I have time, I will definitely try to swing on by. I want to try these two colors. It's going to be an odd combo of purple and orange are just kind of speaking to me with one of these guys. Def says I'm in a work in progress painting a bunch of Space Wolves right now. Nice. And then yes, I do remember the channel name. And then One Shot says, I'm working on Rubute Gilliman right now. I'm kind of bad at picking colors. I typically do lore colors way as to cop out. Fair enough. Okay, I will say personally for myself, I hold certain models to a higher standard than I probably should. One of those models being the lion. I've had a lion model now for a year and a half, and I've not painted it, and I'm scared to paint it because I don't feel like I'll do a good enough job for it. I know that's not true now, but I've made a certain goal in my head be what I do in order to paint it. I think I am going to do the purple and orange, and I'm going to do it on this guy, I think. I feel that. I used to assemble in the basement of one of my apartments, and then my roommate moved out, and I took over his room as my hobby room, and someone else moved into the basement. They chose to. They wanted all that space. I think purple and orange is going to actually work. I mean, I could do it on this one. I think this guy is more speaking to be green for me. This guy's speaking green. He wants to be green. This one will be purple and orange. That will work out. And I know I'm doing a lot of talking. It's usually I just kind of freeform and go with it, but with something like this, I feel like talking is what I have to do. And luckily, I do have a monster brush model here. So, I'm thinking purple is going to be the center part here, and then it'll be orange on the sides. Or maybe I do like the door here orange and then purple around it. And then I can find some sort of color to work as the sides. You have the misfortune of everything to get rid of. of some roommates, other people you care for, have their lives go to hell and come to you for a place to live. You're a good person trying to do that. At least giving people a place to, like, land and let them get back on their feet. I know it can be. It's so, like, two contrasting colors. That's kind of why I'm, like, talking it out and trying to figure out if it will work. I should do some research before I even put paint on, but, like, a lot of my colors are blue, and I have the orange just because of all that stuff. I want to do something different. I've been watching a lot of Eon's Battle, and I've been watching a lot of his Death Guard stuff, and he has some... He works with very limited paints, and I want to try that myself. So I kind of want to limit myself to, like, very few colors on these. I can picture it. I can actually picture the colors. I fully know how I'm going to do. All good, one shot. Enjoy the rest of your day. Ooh, those... I will say, I have the whole range of the deep greens. And I am going to paint one of these guys green. I'm not sure how I feel about green and orange, but green and purple. I like that. I'm glad I didn't just start painting all the way. I knew someone was going to come up with a good suggestion. Okay. Oh, I could do green and red. How do green and red kind of look together? Yeah, wow, that contrast is hard. It's not the only green I have. I do have other greens. Yeah. Okay. Green and purple. And we're going to do the red colors on this guy. As much as I said he was kind of speaking green to me, I think doing that red kind of black, red, gray colors will work. So, I'm going to do the greens. Yeah, I don't have a darker red. Like, corn red's the darkest red I have. And it could work, I don't know. I just set it next to Eternal Hunt, and it just kind of clicked in my head. That could work. I think I'm just going to start going. And I'll play with it. See how it all pans out. Yeah. Yeah, I probably should. Or, what if I painted it purple, then did red over top? Probably not go as well as I'm thinking, but I could give it a try. That would then give me my darker color that I'm looking for, or that I could use, but then still it'd be a more purpley red. Okay. Wow, why are you already splitting? You should not be. You're like a brand new goddamn brush. That's kind of what I was thinking. Is if I base coat it purple, it would work as like the shadow for the reds. I think it will all work out. And it won't be the only model in this army that has red. I mean, the knight is red and blue. That's the main big guy, at least. Okay. So, I've heard the word Zenithal thrown around quite a bit. What is a Zenithal truly? Like, is it just taking a white paint and like airbrushing it a certain angle so it comes through light-wise? Like, I've seen people do it. Is Zenithal just the name of the technique? I will take a look at that in a second, Grim. Oh, okay. So just going from a black base to a gray, then a white, bring up brightness so that when you put paint on, it helps with the lighting. Because as the paint dries, at least what I can see on here, I can see like the black underneath on the base coat, but it's like tinted green. And the white and gray is fully covered and made it a lighter looking green. Okay. Volumetric highlighting. Huh. You learn something new every day. I'm glad I asked the question. gonna pop over to the Discord and just see what was. Oh, that's a creepy frog. Oh, that's some purple and green. Okay. Oh. That actually looks really cool on those Tyranids. Good job on that, Grim. The higher your black and white contrast for base coat, the better the shadow when you layer thin paint on top. Works better even if you replace the black with a dark contrast in color. Okay. I am very glad I asked these questions. I'm sure if I researched and like looked these up, then it would explain to me, but sometimes it's just easier to ask a question to another person and let them kind of answer. Definitely, I'll definitely go with another layer of green on top. Either I'll do another layer of this dark green on top, or I'm going to mix the two. I'll use like another green and mix it and then throw it on top of that. Melody says, like for example, if you do a dark blue base coat with a white zenithal, then you put a red on top of that, you get a cold purple shadow, contrast with the warm saturated red on top of the white. Oh. Yeah, so, okay, so you are working with the values then. The different color values. I don't know. I think you said that like already. No, you said it was volume. Yeah, volumetric highlighting. But yeah, you're pretty much just messing with the value color on like, okay, you slide it this way, you get this color. You slide it this way, you get that. I'm just kind of like picturing it on a sliding scale for like when you do digital art and all that stuff. The base coat and the zenithal give you the value. Noted. Noted. The layer paint get okay. Now I feel like I need to, like, read up on, like, painting in general. And not that it might help me become a better painter, but it feels like if I research and learn these topics, I'll become a better painter. Because, like, I can understand it, but a little bit of it's, like, it's kind of going over my head, but not, like, strongly going over my head. I am still going. I will go for another 6 minutes, and then it will be a 3-hour stream. I have not been looking at the time. I just realized it's 11 p.m. my time. I wanted to give you guys a 3-hour stream because I haven't streamed in like 4 days. And I don't know when I'll stream next this week. There's There's 2 groups I'm a part of that are meeting together to play Warhammer. But I also feel like I should not go and play and get these guys finished up and painted. I mean, I'm sure I'll be called in early this morning or next morning to go snow plowing. I don't want to go snow plowing, but fuck it. It's my job. I need to make money. I can't just be a silly goober on the internet all day, as much as I'd love to be. I'm like unsure what else I wanted to make green for a second. No, I don't want to be a follower of Slanesh. I have no interest on following any of the Chaos Gods. My name is not on the files. My name will never be on the files. Oh, hey, it's snowing outside. mean, the other thing with like trying to tune in, the other thing is my job, I start at 9, I get done at 5. If I'm able to pop in for like a little bit, I'll be able to, but I don't know what I'll be doing for work that day, so I might not be able to. I will try. I will try to show up if I can. Boxy. Okay. I feel like I'm on a good step to get these guys. I can at least get the knights done within this week. I'll probably get everything else painted up and all that stuff. Wait, there's an actual character named Boxy? I was just doing it because he kept saying box knot. Sunrise. Okay, I want to keep going, but I need to get some rest and sleep. I got a day tomorrow. And yeah, I got a day ahead of me. But with that being said, I hope y'all enjoyed the stream. If you want to be part of the community, feel free. Well, if you enjoy the content, feel free to leave a like and subscribe. If you want to be part of the community, you can join the Discord. I have a Discord. It is completely free. It's in the channel description. Also, if you want to help support the channel a little bit more, you know, stuff to help with upgrading equipment, hired editors for videos, stuff like that, I do have a Ko-Fi or Coffee account you could donate to. You don't have to. Like, with all that being said, you don't have to do any of that. Just having you here, hanging out, chatting, being a part of the community, that's more than enough. So, you are welcome, Melody. With that all being said, I want you to go out there and make something awesome. I know you will.